boy. Okay, kids. So I want to talk about this real quick. I don't have a few minutes to make this video, but this is actually quite exciting for me. Maybe for you, I don't know. But this is finally here. After much ballyhoo and foofara, this is the Dorman, the real deal kit for the aluminum upgrade oil cooler assembly. And it comes complete. This is the first of me opening. This is like Christmas if you're into this stuff. So, upper and lower intake gaskets. These are the seals at the bottom of the cooler. But look at this sexiness. Oh, die casting. Oh, looks like it needs deburred. But this is not going to work. Look at that. Maybe you can see Dorman's logo, made in the US of A. That's fantastic. I would expect that this would last forever. You'll be dead by the time you need a new one of these, I would think. But what is this actual problem that we're solving? What is this oil cooler issue? Well, let me tell you, there's a story. There's always a story. This is your oil cooler. What it actually is an oil warmer. What it's designed to do is get the oil in the engine up to temperature as soon as possible. They do that for emissions reasons, but they also do it for the consistency because the valve timing in your engine runs on oil pressure, and they want to keep that as consistent as possible. So what this does is it sits on top of the engine, and coolant comes in one side and oil comes in the other, and it goes through this heat exchanger, and that's how it warms your oil or keeps it at a consistent temperature, basically, or at least more consistent. So the problem with this piece has always been, this has been since the introduction of the Pentastar in 2011, is that this plastic piece tends to warp over time, and what happens is these O-rings, which you can see here, these, I guess 5 of them, it's not that they tear, but they become hard. I can actually feel, there's a reason this one's on the shelf. These are hard and they're not going to seal to the block very well. When they leak, what happens is oil will pool up in the V of the engine and pour out the back of the engine onto the bell housing, onto the transmission, and then onto the ground. So obviously you don't want to leak oil, but more importantly, if you don't catch it, you'll leak all your oil and blow your engine, because engines need oil to run. That is just the way of things. I mean, you'll get a bunch of codes first, and I believe the engine will put itself into to protect. But you'll leak the entire crankcase full of oil out in 30 miles, 40 miles. I know because it's happened to me. Speaking of it happening to me, this happened to me twice. Early in ownership in 2015 and 2016. And each time the dealer separated me from $1,200 to fix the actual problem. Now, these days, the dealers are not replacing these units. They're not allowed to as a warranty function. They just replace the seals. The seals are here, and I mean, they're like 15 bucks for the seals. Very simple. So much so that my local dealer has like 30 of these on the shelf. Very common issue with all the Pentastars. But most people feel that, yes, if you replace the seals, it won't leak, but the problem is caused by warpage. So Dorman tooled up, because that's what they do, and they made that part in nice aluminum, and that will eliminate this problem. I virtually eliminate. I mean, somebody somewhere is going to have a problem, but whatever. I guess I could show you on this engine. That would be clever. I'll do that. All right, it might be difficult to do this with one hand, but this is your engine, obviously. This is it as you look at it in the vehicle. The intake manifold comes off. There is your actual intake manifold, and you can see the cap for the oil cooler assembly. It lives under there. So you have to take the lower intake off, and it involves some gaskets and some other things. You have to separate and remove the fuel rail, which is this piece right there. A little, but look what it comes with that the other kits don't come with. That's the new heat exchanger portion that will mount on there. But in a lovely box with even a dress-up item comes with it. Look, an orange oil filter cap, which is there. It says on it, stop, do not proceed without reading. It's what it's telling you is that this kit fits the earlier Promaster 11 to 13, which used a different filter. This kit uses the modern filter, so this orange cap is there to tell any oil change person who doesn't know you've made this upgrade that their 11 to 13 filter won't fit, and you would need to use the other one. Look, it even comes with a filter. This installation, along with this, which we call the dick, but I believe it is called the water outlet tube or water pump outlet tube. You'll never guess why I chose that name. This is another upgrade. that Dorman makes. Doesn't say whether it's made in the USA. It probably isn't. But again, this eliminates the O-ring problem is a very, very common problem, and I'll talk about that. But this will eliminate those problems and dick problems. And I intend to put this together as a package so that, because it's easy to get to this once you're doing this, and it's just better to do them together. I also want to include in that package, if I can find somebody or otherwise get some external assistance about it, that upgrades those metal coolant lines that tend to rust. I mean, it's not like they rust every 5 minutes. Every 7 years they rust out and you get a leak, but it's just something that it would be nice to do those metal lines in rubber, and then it's like I don't have to even think about losing coolant or leaking it or smelling it. It's just all kind of done as a big upgrade, which would be called, I think, the Dick Castile package. Pretty clever, huh? Dick Castile. That's a Seinfeld joke that his porno name was Dick Castile. My porno name would be Girth Brooks, but that's me. Anyway, that's pretty exciting, as I say. Christmas.